Hello there, and welcome to PowerTalk. My name is Victor Mwila. Today we're discussing Africa's energy future, Zambia's role in driving regional growth, energy security, and investment. This year, Zambia hosted the Southern African Power Pool SAP meetings in Lusaka, reaffirming the country's growing influence in regional energy cooperation and electricity trade. But as Africa seeks to expand energy access, strengthen energy security, and attract investment, what role can Zambia play in shaping the continent's energy future? To discuss this and more, I'm joined by Engineer Hope Chanda, Chief Executive Officer and convener of the Energy Forum for Africa, EFFA. Engineer Chanda, I would like to appreciate you coming to appear on PowerTalk, and thank you so much. You've been here before.
Thank you, Victor. It's always a pleasure to speak with you and discuss energy matters.
So today, as we are discussing Africa's energy future, and of course we're looking at the role that Zambia can play in driving regional growth, energy security, and investment, it is a fact that Africa generally is one continent that is endowed with abundant natural resources. And yet it is in Africa that we see millions of people lacking access to reliable electricity. What do you see as the biggest challenge or barriers that are preventing the continent from fully unlocking its energy potential?
That is a difficult question because we've been sitting at this for quite a long time. So we'll find that we have neglected to include underserved regions. I think this is one of the aspects that many governments should actually look at. Now we see a lot of rural electrification agencies, authorities in various countries in Africa that are trying to promote access to energy. In Zambia particularly, we are trying to move up from 30% to about 52% access to energy. So if you look at that, it's already a problem. As we see, this is the age of AI. We are sitting in 2026. At this point, we should have 100% access to electricity for every citizen of the African continent. But it is not so. I would say that we need to look at means and ways of immediately trying as hard as possible to bring access to energy to especially the rural areas. One of the ways that can be done is to have decentralized energy centers. And I think in Zambia, this is being achieved through the local governments. I think there will be about 2 megawatts, I think, in each constituency. If each constituency can have 2 megawatts, we are looking at something that can bring in 250 megawatts in the country, and that will just be dedicated to access. And then also we are looking at universal access to electricity by all citizens of Africa, at least by 2050. Hoping this will be achieved. Mission 300 has been laboring to do that. But I also see the reason why this is not coming up is also not involving the rural communities themselves to become their own solution. If you look at the chiefdoms, for example, they have resources. They could do solar, they could do wind energy. There is also a possibility of biomass. And so if communities can come up together and bring in these energy sources, we will not be talking about the failure to have access to energy that we have now. But more so, what that requires is that we should have policy direction from government. We should also have political will to ensure that people have access to that power within the African countries themselves, and the solution should actually come from themselves. We have seen access solutions from different providers that are going into rural areas where you pay as you go. I think there's a lot of pay as you go opportunities in rural areas. That is also working. We also have in underserved regions where there's possibility of production like farming. We are saying productive use of power. If I can use that power for irrigation, then I am producing my crop and selling to the market. I am able to pay for that power. That will also increase access to electricity and energy in Africa.
Zambia, on its part, is actually investing in different sources of energy. Solar, we do have in Sinazongwe, Mamba Energy Limited investing in more of coal power generation. They are also diversifying, getting into solar. All these sources put together will definitely make a difference. So as we are doing that as a country, I would like to find out from you. We are referred to as a landlocked country. Some people would say landlocked, others would say land-linked. Those in development will actually call this a strategic position.
Correct.
Which we occupy in the region. Because if you turn to the north, you turn to the south, the east, the west, we have a neighboring country. From your perspective as Energy Forum for Africa, how can Zambia leverage this position to become, for instance, a stronger regional energy hub? Is there a way we can exploit this?
Yes, definitely. There is a way, and I think we are doing that already. If we continue on the path where we are right now, where we have a situation of 500 megawatts within a space of 2 years is a very big milestone. If we could continue at this stage of 1,000 megawatts each year into the country, we will become a net exporter of power to the region. And if we also invest in our networks, in the power infrastructure, in terms of transmission, definitely we are going to become a net exporter of power to the region. This becomes an opportunity for even ourselves, because I'm working for a company called Memshak Engineering Consultants. You talked about the power plants that are coming up in the south. We were part of the team that we did the grid impact studies for the 600 megawatts Evergreen. It's coming up. We also did a 100 megawatts grid impact study for the Mamba Solar coming up. So that is an opportunity also for us as engineers, as consultants. We can see that we are beginning to understand the region. We can now take this knowledge to the region in terms of expansion of power. What that does to Zambia is that the energy players who are trading on the Southern African power pool, I mentioned earlier on to you that Zambia has the most number of traders on the power pool owing to the good policies that we have now, allowing private sector players onto the market. So this is an opportunity for them as traders to sell power to whoever they would like to sell to within the region. They can sell to Tanzania, they can sell to Congo, they can sell to Botswana, they can sell to Zimbabwe. And so for me, I foresee a situation where we can look at Zambia as a net exporter of power to the region.
And just talking about regional power trading, it's actually being viewed as, increasingly being viewed as a solution to energy shortages, because what one country may have, another country might not have. Why is cross-border energy cooperation in this regard? Why is it so significant for Africa's energy future?
I think it's anchoring on energy security for Africa itself. You mentioned earlier that we are struggling with access. So if we can have regional integration, we are also tackling the issue of access to electricity by all citizens. So we're talking about universal access to energy. It may not only actually be just the lights that you see. We see energy also in the form of heat, especially because that is what we are using that for. So if you look at the regional collaboration, South Africa, for example, was able to give Zambia power during the time of a crisis. Another crisis is coming for another country, and Zambia is able to do that. We've seen that Zambia in the past has been sending power to DRC, for example, and there's collaboration between DRC and Zambia in terms of import and export of power. That is important for the region, because then we will see a situation where we will not be in a situation of energy poverty. We are fighting energy poverty through borderless energy integration. And so this year, as the Energy Forum for Africa, our theme is driving a borderless energy future. And what you're talking about is exactly what we would like to achieve. We would like to see a situation where industries will not be affected because of shortage of power in one country. Manufacturing industries, mining industries should not be affected because of a situation that hampers maybe production of electricity in one region. And so if we are integrated, we are definitely secure, and it provides for the energy security for the region and for Africa at large.
And we have experienced severe droughts, especially in the Southern Africa region. What lessons do you think as a region we have learned? Well, we can say the region, we can also come down to Zambia. What lessons have we learned from this experience, and how can energy systems become more resilient?
Okay. I think the main lesson that I have learned personally, and I think this is a lesson to all, in a layman's language, is that every cloud has a silver lining. I think that we have learned that we are capable of solving our own problems. We have learned that we are capable of innovative ideas to circumvent any challenge that we face. We have also learned that planning is a key component of any development. So in the recent past, we have seen Zambia being very active in terms of resource planning. The integrated resource plan has been launched. We have seen the policies, even from the energy regulation point of view, that the regulation for solar plants, for example, has now come on board, which we didn't have before. So we are seeing that we actually have the capacity to become our own problem solvers. And this is driving us to even greater development as a country. And also spreading to other sectors of the economy, like agriculture and mining. If you talk of mining, we also have innovative ideas now coming in terms of efficient use of energy in the mines, efficient use of energy in the agriculture sector. And the crisis did actually teach us many, many lessons. And for me, it has been a driving force for development for the country. So again, every cloud has a silver lining.
The Energy Forum for Africa was part of the Southern African Power Pool meetings that took place in Lusaka this year,
yes,
which Zambia was hosting after more than a decade. And some of the things that came out of that was this concern that there's sometimes this challenge, the energy infrastructure challenge, where you have power in this country, but the infrastructure to carry that power into another country is missing. Where do you see the greatest opportunities for investors, and how can reliable energy help drive economic growth?
There's a big opportunity in the transmission sector, more so in the interconnectors. Interconnectors are not enough currently as we see it for Africa as a whole. So we are looking for investment in transmission infrastructure. Transmission lines need to be connected in between countries. If you look at the tie line between Zambia and Zimbabwe, that tie line is already overtaken by events. If we lose one of those lines, it causes instability for the region actually. And so if we have another line coming in, so we have, I think there's a plan to have Mukuni, which is Mukuni from the Zambia into Wange, Zimbabwe, we have that interconnector. At the Energy Forum for Africa last year, we had a memorandum of understanding signed between Botswana and Zambia. We are looking at an interconnector between Botswana and Zambia to bring in power from Botswana and to also take power into Botswana. So that interconnector should be coming up and is being planned. We are also looking at the Zambia-Tanzania interconnector that is already almost running. I'm currently actually also working on that project to see that we have an interconnector into Tanzania. We also have private sector players. One of our partners is building a line into Congo through Solwezi to the other side. We have other IPPs that have an interconnector into Congo, but these are not enough. We want these interconnectors to be through Malawi, through Mozambique, through Angola, and more through DRC. So that is one opportunity. There's also another opportunity for wheeling. As you know, right now we have open access. And with open access, there will be generating plants from within the central part of Zambia, for example, or the central part of Zambia, around southern province, around Copper Belt. This region needs to be reinforced with transmission lines. And so there are wheeling charges, I think, that are being proposed by the Southern African Power Pool. Whether that will come to pass or not, there are still wheeling charges within in-country that, that form as a financial model for investing into that sector. We also have interest from bilaterals to finance these projects. So investors can come in and develop these, this infrastructure for the region.
And I think that is appropriate because it's given. Governments alone cannot meet the financing needs of these energy infrastructure that have to be put in place in order to accelerate development of energy. What role do you think the private sector can play in accelerating energy development on the continent?
I think the best model is a PPP from my point of view, because we see that much of this infrastructure is owned by the national utility and they have the biggest asset base. And also they are developing these projects with the resources that they have. I think it would be prudent also for other private sector players to join hands with public utilities, especially for in terms of PPPs. We need PPP models in the energy sector that will drive the development of transmission. I think that would be a very good way to deal with it. Also an opportunity for other infrastructure players to develop their own transmission lines if they do have the capacity. But the most low-hanging fruit we have is private-public partnership. I think that is one very important key investment opportunity that we can look at. Myself, coming from the private sector, I would go for public-private partnerships, and if opportunities allow, private sector can go in and just develop their own infrastructure for these projects. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the issues that affect young people, because this energy transition is also creating new opportunities. Mm-hmm. You talked about this being a new era in which we have to exploit AI. Yes. In every form of development. What skills and career pathways should young Africans focus on to benefit from this energy transformation that is taking place?
I think one of the first ones I'll think about is smart technologies. Smart technologies in the electrical infrastructure, smart technologies in telecoms as well, because as you may be aware, energy also runs on telecoms. We do communicate between substations, and that communication must become more efficient now more than ever, because we have sources of power that are of varying strengths. We have the base load, for example, in terms of thermal plants and hydro, but we also have intermittent power from wind and solar. we should be able to have smart technologies that integrate these sources of energy together without causing interruption. And that is an opportunity. We also have, of course, artificial intelligence in the use of energy management. I think that is another opportunity for the youths to come in. Also, the use of apps now where you can actually control your power from the palm of your hand, whether you are home or not. Those are opportunities for the youths. The youths can also come in to see that they venture into engineering. We should not neglect engineering in terms of education. Engineering is a bedrock of the economy. And so these are opportunities. Renewable energy technologies coming up. I've seen some innovations in terms of you use less water to generate power. And that is a sustainable solution that can be provided. So those models can be created by the youths and engineers today. Yeah.
The Energy Forum for Africa, since its creation, has emerged as an important platform for dialogue and collaboration in the energy space. Why do you think and actually you are hosting a meeting this October, why do you think this is significant for, energy sector players to come together to dialogue as well as look at possible ways of collaboration?
I think this is because we should move away from simply talking into implementation. And platforms such as the Energy Forum for Africa provides for such. We are action-oriented platform that tries to drive each project that is brought to us to see to it that it's implemented. If it needs funding, we see to it that it receives the funding, and then also drive that implementation to increase the energy mix. For the Energy Forum for Africa, right now we have become a regional platform. If you noticed, last year we had representation from all countries within the SADC region. This year we have representation and sponsors coming in from Africa as far as Nigeria. That is an interest that is coming into the sector. And we also see interest from overseas. So as a region, we are receiving actually, I would say last year I think we had 10% of visitors coming in from overseas, Europe and America. And this year we are trying to increase that number, as well as increase regional participation in terms of sponsorship as well. So companies within the region this year will try to increase that number. Why is this important for Africa? The reason is Africa needs to develop its own solutions. So it's a situation of solving our own problems, solving African problems with African ideas and African innovation. So this year, we have moved around the countries. You would be happy to note that we were in South Africa. We had these discussions as networking events. We had various companies coming in, and as well as representation from independent power producers within Southern Africa. We had DBSA represented, as well as I think one of the ministries represented at the networking event in South Africa. We also had a networking event in Botswana, which went very well, represented by all the major energy sector players, including the ministry and BPC. That also provided a chance for people to begin to speak, and also making way that once they now come to the Energy Forum for Africa, they know what to expect. They'll come with projects that we can showcase at the Energy Forum for Africa. Just next month, we'll be in Zimbabwe as well, through the help of other sector players in Zimbabwe. We'll be hosting another event there to see that we have these discussions starting from in-country. By the time we have the International Forum in October, we will have all these players coming in together. Remember, we are going to have regulators as well. as Africa, we need harmonized regulation so that when I have an interconnector, I do not have to pass through different policies and regulations that will hamper my development. So we also want to drive that, harmonize the regulation. So the regulators from within the region are coming and we'll have that discussion. The utilities as well will come and we'll have that discussion. So I'm excited for this year because we are now driving the borderless energy future for Africa, and the future is bright.
Engineer, I would like to ask you to just make your final remarks as we close our program discussing Africa's energy future and Zambia's role in driving regional energy growth and investment.
I think I would just like to make a call, and the first one is to Zambian ministries that reliant on energy. I think all ministries are basically reliant on energy. We ask participation from ministries. We've had support in the past from ministries of energy, water, finance, and mining. We would also want to see support from other sectors of the economy. And I'm also calling on organizations to come and partner with us as sponsors, as speakers, to drive this energy sector, and also to create a platform where we will have tangible outcomes as a nation, as a region, and as Africa as a whole.
Well, I would like to say thank you so much for making time to come and appear on PowerTalk. We really appreciate the insights that you share on this platform each time you appear here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and I'm always happy to be here.
Thank you. Well, viewers, that's it for today. On PowerTalk, we were featuring Engineer Hope Chanda, Chief Executive Officer of the Energy Forum for Africa, discussing Africa's energy future, Zambia's role in driving regional growth, and energy security. As Zambia continues to strengthen its position in the energy sector, the opportunities for growth, energy security, and prosperity remain significant. And I think that push as a country, as we continue to invest in diversified sources of energy, is what will make this country an energy hub to exploit our strategic position, which other people would call landlocked, others would call that as land-linked. I thank you so much for watching PowerTalk. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is Victor Mwila. Until next time, it's bye for now.